Hello, and
And
welcome to the East Orange Thought of the Week. The thought this week is going to come from my brother Joe Ham, who works with the congregation in Wallingford, Connecticut.
And the thought this week comes from John chapter 12 and verse 8, where Jesus says, "For you always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." And the context here is that Mary has just anointed his feet with costly oil, and Judas complains that the money from the oil could have been given to the poor. And while we know that that was important, Jesus makes a spiritual application that he is more important than the poor. In fact, if we're going to look at something about the character of Jesus and his apostles, we can gain from this that it must have been common for them to look out for the poor.
And that's what he's calling us to do. We don't have Jesus walking around with us. He said, I'm going away, and he's gone.
That's right.
But we still got poor people out on the street day after day. What do I need to be doing with the poor?
Well, think about the story about the Good Samaritan. Who was it that actually stopped? Was it the Levite? Was it the priest? No, it was the Samaritan. Perhaps we have our doctrine together. We think we're right religiously, but we're not putting the things that we need to be doing into practice. We're not showing the love of Christ and shining that forth to our fellow men.
And not only did Jesus care for the poor, remember Jesus, he was supported by a group of women in Luke chapter 8 that gave him his livelihood and his sustenance so that he could go around preaching the gospel. That is something that is a great help and a great sacrifice made by these women who cared for the poor. Jesus was a carpenter. He didn't grow up from wealthy background, but yet people took care of him.
In fact, we'll be judged in the final days based on how we treat the poor.
That's right. Matthew chapter 25. The thought this week is very simple. Jesus is more important than the poor, but that does not mean that we should not help the poor. As individuals, we need to help the poor.
Absolutely.